You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm glad you've joined me this morning. So, this morning on the news, it came out, economic data came out, says that our GDP is at 4.1%, which is a very good number. In 2016, we had a GDP of 1.6%. Very bad. So we've had significant growth, up to 4.1% for the second quarter of 2018. Now the question is, and I know a lot of you are out there wondering, what in the world is GDP and why do we pay attention to it? Do you even know what GDP stands for? It stands for Gross Domestic Product, okay, within the United States. It looks at a good. A good is like a video game, a car, an apple, a gold ring. Goods are things that people make, grow, or extract from the land. Then we look at the services, which is like a haircut, a bus ride, a computer repair, a doctor's care, a tax practitioner. Services are actions that people do for someone else. And then we look at the market value. And the market value is how much something costs in the marketplace. It's what you pay for that video game or that haircut, okay? So GDP is calculated as the total market value of the goods and services produced within the United States within 1 year. And we like to look at the growth pattern of the GDP. So why is GDP so important? And I know that a lot of you are asking this because, you know, it's on the news. It's going to be on the news for the next week. Next 7 days it will be on there. Because the president's going to brag about it. The Congress is going to brag about it. Everybody in economics is going to say, yes, this is very good. Now, there's going to be some naysayers out there, especially on the left, who are going to say, oh, this is terrible for America. Why? I have no idea. But why is GDP so important? Well, it shows us the pace of economic growth and how it affects jobs and businesses and the investments that they make. It's very important to know what the GDP is because it's understanding the economy helps the public and policymakers make informed decisions. And the GDP helps compare the U.S. economy with economies around the world. It looks at everything around the world and how we're doing as a nation. So the next question is, who uses the GDP? Well, Congress, the White House, the Federal Reserve, state and local governments, business leaders, analysts, and researchers. And the American public rely on GDP and related statistics from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. These statistics inform decisions about taxes and spending, hiring and investing, and interest rates and trade policy, and a lot more. So we have to look at this. So now, so how is the GDP calculated? That is the question that everybody asks. How did we get to those numbers? Well, if you look at it in a formula, it is personal consumption, which is consumption, plus investments, plus government spending, plus net exports, which means import-export, minus import-export, and which equals our GDP. So that is C plus I plus G plus NX equals GDP. So that is how it's calculated. So it's looking at consumer expenditures, which is also called consumer spending, the goods and services people buy, such as groceries, clothing, cell phone services, and healthcare, and everything else. Then the investment, plus the investment, this is business spending on fixed assets such as land, buildings, and equipment, plus investment in unsold inventory, and also includes purchases of homes by consumers. Then there's plus government spending. The government spending is the spending by federal and state and local governments to provide goods and services such as schools, roads, or national defense. Then we go plus net exports, also known as exports minus imports. X equals M. The value of exports to other countries minus the value of imports into the United States from other countries. And you'll see that a lot. The president talks about that a lot because a lot of countries are sending in a lot more than what we're sending out. It's unfair. So look at that as what the president is saying, is that it's unfair because there's tariffs involved, and we are charged as a country much higher tariffs to go into other countries than what we charge them to bring their goods into us. That's why the president would like to do away with zero tariffs. Let's just get away. So all of this gets us down to the gross domestic product, which is the total market value of the goods and services produced within the United States in a year. So that is how we look at the GDP and why it's so important for us to kind of use that as a gauge of how well the country is doing, especially compared to other countries. But it's good to know that our growth is strong, employment is up significantly, and that companies are willing to now go out and do investments in materials and assets and other sorts of machinery and everything that keeps other people working around the United States. So this is a very good indication that 4.1% that we have grown so significantly. In fact, we've gone up 2% since the last quarter. I think I've already said that. But we have significant growth here. And I think the economists are going to say that they're going to see continued significant growth as we continue on here. And the biggest reason that these things are happening is because, one, we have a good economic policy. The president has eliminated a lot of the red tape within all the various departments that affect business. And we have had the tax reduction. That tremendously helps bringing jobs back from foreign countries back into our nation and creating new jobs. So look at this 4.1%, and it's really good. You now know what the GDP is all about because I just told you. If you didn't get what I said, repeat the podcast and go over it one more time. It's really, really important that we all understand what the GDP is and how it affects us as governments and businesses determine by looking at that number how they look at the economy and how they can grow their businesses. I tell you, when that GDP is down so low, that means that companies are scared to do something. And that's what happened with the Obama administration. Businesses were scared. They did not know what more the Obama administration was going to do to their business or how it was going to affect their business. And they were coming up with all sorts of wage and everything else. So companies back in the Obama administration, and basically for the 8 years he was in office, stalled. They were put on hold. And they were put on hold because they didn't know what was going to happen next with the Democrats and with Obama. They did not know. So they held off hiring, they held off investing, they held off on everything until they knew that there was going to be a better situation coming along. And as you saw, as soon as the Obama administration was about to end, you saw things beginning to pop because businesses were confident. Americans were confident. Jobs began coming in where some jobs can't even be filled at the moment because there's so many openings. Things changed because of the way a president thinks about the economy and about the business. When you have a government that is so focused on controlling business and controlling the ability to grow with higher taxes and more red tape and more laws that are going to affect their business, it puts a hold on business. And that's what happened for these last... I remember I was sitting in the Chamber of Commerce because I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce of Orlando. And that's what the Orlando Chamber people were saying. Hey, we're on hold because we don't know what's going to happen. And that was an amazing thing for me to hear that because it clicked in my mind saying, okay, businesses are concerned. They don't know if there's going to be more taxes on them. They didn't know if there was going to be more red tape. They didn't know if there was going to be more health care mandates coming down from the Obama administration. All of those things cost businesses. Remember, small business has a very small profit margin. Big business has a little bit more numbers to play with. But small business owners play with a very small profit margin, and any little change that the president or Congress does affects them greatly. Don't think it doesn't, because it does. And I'm speaking as a small businessman of how I've had to change my philosophy in doing business over the last few years and how it's changed now and how more confident I feel as a business guy. So that's the GDP. I hope that helped you. If you have any questions, send me an email at mlodge@lodge-co.com, and I will answer any email as long as I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, I will research it and get it to you. Again, this is Mike Lodge for the WBT. Everybody go out and have a great day. GDP, 4.1%. It's a great day. Talk to you soon.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.